Hello, Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Classics Show. I am your host, Shabnam, Riaz. As always, as I say every week before I do the introduction, when I do the introduction to today's program, it's that time of the week where we get to talk about, those fascinating things that are so important in life. I mean, we have all those things to talk about, politics and whatnot and other things as well, and this is that time we get to relax and it's all soul food. So I think this is really fantastic, and this is a time that I love. I love sort of hosting this program. The wonderful guests that we have as well, they have so much information. Treasure chests are opened, if you can say it that way. Okay, and today's program we're going to be talking about Pakistani culture and culture as well, exploring Pakistani culture, and especially we're going to talk about, this book as well, which is Cultural Horizons Pakistan, and this is written by Mufti, who is with us today in the hot seat, if I could say. It's a pleasure to have you here. And you're a folklorist, social scientist, cultural expert, and author of many books as well. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Right. Okay, so if we start today's program, the main question that you hear many people, if not ask, or they'll want answers to it, or if you ask them this question, they will be confused. What exactly is Pakistani culture?
Oh, this is a question that I have been asked all my life.
Right.
And even the Joint Secretary, the Secretary in charge for culture, has put me this question, Mufti Saab, is there something like Pakistani culture?
Right.
The problem is, Shabnam, that Pakistani culture, we are like fish in water. We don't see it. It's all around us. This shirt that you're wearing, the trucks, the lorries that go gaily painted on the roads, the craftsmen, the artisans, the songs, the music, the Sufis, the shrines. I mean, we are surrounded by culture.
Right.
This is all. Our regional cultures are so rich. Our Sufi lore and Sufi heritage is so rich. Our folklore, our songs, our ballads, our romances. It's so sad that some times ago, Pakistan, only about 10, 15, 20 years ago, before the Afghan war, we were known as the land of romances.
Yeah.
As the land of five rivers, the land of ballads and musical narratives. No longer. But we are indeed, if you look at it, we are the land of legends, of romances, of ballads. How many romances you have? Other countries have a few.
Yeah.
You have a romance on every 50 kilometers. You go in any direction, you have another romance.
So we have a huge legacy.
We have a very rich legacy of legends, of ballads, of romances, of narratives, of musical narratives, or tales, of long tales, of narrative tales, of oral traditions. So the problem with Pakistan is that we Pakistanis don't see ourselves.
Why is that? I mean, if it can take, if a foreigner can come and just go crazy.
And this is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
It's not until Nusrat Fateh goes abroad. He keeps singing on every shrine here.
Right.
He picks up his own harmonium. He goes and sings at every shrine, but we never go to hear him sing there. We never do go there. Village people go and pay him a little money, and we never really bother. But when Peter Gabriel takes him away,
and he becomes a Western sensation,
he says that I've never heard a voice like, and we all start raving about it, and we say, oh, when we sit in our drawing rooms and we say, well, Nusrat, he's my favorite singer. Oh, I only listen to Nusrat. Now, there's something psychologically wrong with us. That we don't perceive ourselves. And we don't see our greatness. We don't see where we are great. For example, the man who makes vegetable dyes and cultivates indigo, which is something which comes all the way from Harappa, is alive. He's living in Karor Pakka. But we Pakistanis don't know about him.
The simple act of getting a dupatta coloured and dyed.
Simple as that. it takes an expertise. Or block printing something. You know, this block printing is as old as Harappa. It's 2,500 years BC. The pots, the earthen pots that you see, our earthen pots, which I'm sure in our homes, you don't see any earthen pot now.
True.
You see, we had, everything was earthen at one time.
So, you know,
Our
in a
pitchers
way,
were earthen, our utensils were earthen, you know, but they're all vanished. Even though we as the Indus Valley civilization, as the Harappan civilization, are known for terracotta, for earthen pots.
Right.
And they are made the same way, and they're also decorated the same way, the same motifs which used to go on them 2,000 years ago. They're still being used. But the problem is that we as a nation have not learned to value ourselves.
Not learnt to value ourselves, and also, you know, I would say that this is tragic. Because if it takes somebody who is a foreigner to come to your own country and to educate you
how great we are
about what you have, I mean, that for our part, it's a huge failure.
This is very sad. Now, this is one of the worst aspects of colonization, because colonization has molded our minds in a way that we can't perceive our own greatness.
And we need the Western stamp of approval, as you just gave the example of Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Yeah.
Not only that, there's so many other examples. I can go on. But you see, this is our main problem.
Right.
There's another problem. You see, there is so much of culture in Pakistan. There is so much of it that we are negligent about it. But if you go to Tokyo, for example, if you go to Tokyo or to Japan, you see they're looking for an old song, for an old piece of cloth, because they've lost it.
Nostalgia.
So the other factor is a human psychological, that not until you begin to lose something that you start valuing it, right? If this applique work on your beautiful shirt, if this had become rare, then you'll be very proud wearing it and you'd go looking for it.
True.
But with us, the problem is that we are so rich in culture
that we're taking it all for granted.
That we just are oblivious about it.
Yeah.
We are like the fish in water.
Yeah, the surplus is just passing us by. And we see this every day. Well, what does it mean?
There you are.
So, okay, you've put forth such an important point. And this is something that needs to be addressed on a war footing, I would say.
Oh, surely.
And you have been doing that. Tell us about that.
I have tried. But you know, moving upstream is not easy. It's not easy. But I've tried, and I think it has had an impact. I think Lok Virsa has had an... But you know, imagine, I started Lok Virsa in the year 1972, 74.
Imagine.
And when I named a government institution Lok Virsa, it was not accepted. Because all the other institutions were named as Directorate General of Archives, Directorate General of Sports, Directorate General of... And here it was a government institution named Lok Virsa. And you know, it was ridiculed. It was not accepted. People were not willing to accept this as a government institution. For 10 years, I didn't get any money in the development budget because the additional secretary in charge would skip Lok Virsa. When he came to Lok Virsa, he would not allocate any money and he would nudge the section officer and say, "What is this?"
It wasn't taken seriously.
No. "What is this?" And he would say, "Sir, this is indeed a government office." And he say, "Is this a government office? What is it doing in Islamabad? It should be in Chichunki, Malya." And that infuriated me.
Of course.
Finally, in 1983, I stood up like a crazy man and I hollered at him and I told him what Lok Virsa meant and how it's important for the country that we finally got some money.
Right.
So there you are.
Right. Okay. So as you said, you know, moving upstream It's when you move upstream, though, that you make the biggest waves in the end, isn't it? Because going with the flow.
We did, you know, you see, look at Islamabad. How many craft shops you see in Islamabad, in and around these two markets, famous markets that we have. Every second, third shop is a craft shop.
Yes.
This was not like that.
Yeah.
Do you know that most of these crafts people who own these craft shops are Sindhis, and they are from Tharparkar, or they are from Hyderabad. And I know that in 1975, when I organized the first Lok Mela folk festival.
That was in 1995?
1975.
75,
and
okay.
it was with a collaboration with PTV. I'm indebted to PTV for that.
Okay, we will also talk about PTV as well and your production.
And you know, it was very difficult to get them. There was this guy, Krishan, who's now a huge craft magnate. He has a shop in India, he has one shop in New York, he has several shops here. He wouldn't come. I had to give him money to come to my festival. I had to persuade him. He would say, no, 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 no. But then when they came, and the foreigners here thronged to that festival, and they bought almost everything, then a trend was set. And that is the reason why they all decided to have shops here. So Lok Virsa has had its impact. Lok Virsa has its impact on PTV also.
Yeah.
There are so many folk artists who I introduced to PTV. They were known only in the regions. Look, Hamisu Khan, Alan Fakir, Faz Baloch, Bilawal Bell, they were not even known.
Tell us about the program that you started and the idea you gave to give a live weekly show, and then what happened with that?
You won't believe this, but at that time there were two very popular shows. There was Tariq Aziz Nilam Ghar.
Yeah.
It was popular. He had gone to Lahore, and there was this very wonderful person. His program from Zia Mohyuddin's program, very successful program, very elitist, very beautiful program. You must have seen it.
Yes.
He started it from Rawalpindi, but in Rawalpindi he didn't make a success. And I went to Aslam Azhar. He was the MD at that time.
Right.
Aslam had this remarkable capability of knowing where talent is.
That's very true. That was a height of creativity at that time. And giving it the avenue.
Spotting it and cashing it.
Right.
So I went to him and I said, Aslam, I want to give you a folk show.
Okay.
He said, folk show? What will that be? I said, we'll bring completely unknown people to you. I had discovered some 2,500 artists working for a Pakistan Music Research Mission for UNESCO. 6 months. We had gone from village to village. We had documented these musicians. We had discovered them all. I said, these are completely unknown people. He said, he reflected for a while and then he said, you want to make a public show with them? I said, yes. Where? I said, Liaquat Memorial Hall, 2,500 people to sit. He said, Mufti, people are going to hurl eggs on you and tomatoes on you. You are going to make a huge show with 2,500 audience, with people who are completely unknown. I said, yes. He began to think about it. Then he said, all right. I said, give me a chance. I make you a pilot.
Okay.
He said, okay, you go and make a pilot.
Right.
I made a pilot. And the pilot was seen at the general manager. There were all these big names in that pilot. There was Allan Fakir, there was Fakir Kufur, there was Faz Baloch, there were Charlie Malang and Party, there was Bilawal Bell, what not. These were top ranking, Hamisu Khan, missing. They were all there in that first show. In the general manager's conference, the show, this tape was shown, and you won't believe it. The general managers rejected it.
Oh.
And so it was concealed in a box that the tapes were big, and it was put away. And that was the end.
So what were your feelings? I mean, at that time, what were you thinking?
I was absolutely shattered because I'd put my best effort.
Yeah.
I'd brought the best from all over Pakistan. Pakistan I had not seen. Pakistan had only seen urban faces till then. Very sophisticated urban faces, Iqbal Bano, Farida Khanum, Runa Laila.
And this was the essence of Pakistan that you were bringing forward.
They didn't like it because it was too novel.
It was too raw. It was too raw for them.
It was too novel. It was too strange.
Right.
They're not used to it. The people were singing in Balochi, in Sindhi, in 1974, when Urdu was the thing, you know.
Right.
So.
But then the fates turned in your favor.
No, I tell you what happened.
Right.
In those days, television had to bring in programs from outside to fill in. So Lucy Show would come in. Dennis the Menace will come in, flying from outside, and they were shown around. Prime time was all occupied with Lucy Show and Dennis the Menace.
Okay.
One day it so happened. The plane didn't arrive. The tapes didn't come.
Okay.
And they didn't know what to do. The presentation controller in the control room, he was at a loss what to do. He said, "Sir, I have this tape called Lok Tamasha. So if you allow me, I'll put it on." He put that on.
Right.
When he put it on, for the first time in the history of television, TV received letters from Dera Ghazi Khan, from Tana Bola Khan, from Tar Parkar, from
you had a
remote
phenomenal
regions.
response.
And people said, "What was that? For the first time we've seen ourselves on your television."
Identification.
Yes. What was that? We need more of that. So Aslam was compelled to call me back. That's how we started.
Right, okay. And that sense of elation at that time that you must have felt after, you know.
But then it continued for 9 long years until it played havoc with my throat. I've still not recovered. And because I had to rehearse that show. There were no recordings at that time. The show was live. And there were big, huge problems. Sometimes I would receive a slip from the floor manager.
Right.
The flight from Quetta is delayed. Please do something.
Oh, right. Improvise. You know, magic.
So, but rehearsing those, there was an orchestra of about 30 people. There were these folk singers who were not used to performing on a stage.
How did you help them to get comfortable?
They were used to sitting, squatting.
And natural, and in a natural environment.
They're natural.
Yeah.
I required them to put up a show.
Right.
As a show like in a Broadway.
Of course, yeah.
They had to come in a certain way, make an exit in a certain way, stand up and sing and dance and perform. So it took a lot of energy from me.
Right.
And they were not used to it.
Okay.
It took a hell of a lot of energy from me. After 9 years, I broke down.
9 years is
I said
huge.
sorry. I said sorry, sir. I can't carry on with this anymore. Meanwhile, Lokvirsa had been set up also, thanks to this show, because I had the idea of a folk academy when I came back from Prague after my doctorate.
Right.
I had this idea. I no longer wanted to be a professor in a university.
That's what I was going to ask you, your areas of specialization and your career, you know.
I did my PhD in philosophy. Right? I don't write myself a doctor because I didn't take the final degree. I was thrown out of Czechoslovakia because there was a revolution. The Russians took over and they ordered all foreign students out, especially those who were in the philosophy department, because the philosophy department became a neo-Marxist.
Yeah.
They were moving away from Marxism, and this was condemned. This was not liked. So when I came back here, I wanted to establish a folk art academy, a folklore institute. That was my first love.
Right.
But nobody would listen to me.
Yeah.
They were willing to accept me for a teacher or a professor in a university, but nobody would listen to my idea of a folk art academy at that time, 1971, 72. So for several years, no, 2-3 years, I went from door to door. I tried to sell the idea to Pakistan National Council for National Integration. There was such a thing there, now National Center.
Okay.
It was also in Dhaka. So I thought that they were the most ideal people to do this because they had a presence in East Pakistan also. And here too they had centers.
Right.
They accepted me. I was appointed as a program planner, but they never implemented. I became very dismayed.
Okay.
Until the People Party government came over and Maulana Kausan Niazi addressed us and he said, no cultural ideas. I don't want to listen to that. I need this to be a department as a propaganda wing for the government. So please, anyone who is here for any cultural objectives should resign and go tomorrow. And I put forth my resignation the next day.
Right.
And I left. And
so there have been many ups and downs. What kept you going? What was that main thing that kept you going?
one crazy idea that I have.
It was passion.
Yeah, it was a tremendous passion because, you see, I think the reason for this passion was that I was always educated in an English medium school,
Right.
St. Mary's.
Right.
And very elite people, children of Ayub Khan and children of all the generals were studying with me. And in my school, it was forbidden to speak Urdu. And if we ever were discovered speaking Urdu, even during intermission, Father McCann and Father Geibel and Father Tyson and Father Burns, these were the missionaries who were teaching us, would get us from the collar, drag us to his office, ask us to remove our shorts, then we called it knickers, and give us a beating on the back. Ask us to kneel and beat. You see how ideas change.
Right.
Here were these missionaries, they beat us like hell, only for speaking Urdu.
In your own country?
That was in my own country. That was the kind of school I was educated in. We read English history, we read English poetry, we read English literature, we read moral science.
So in essence, you were more of a Britisher at that time? If you think
I
of the
think
way
I was
that
neither,
you were...
I was neither British because, you know, at that time when I was very...
Because that was the culture you were being exposed
you see,
to.
I have lost my training for speaking English. At that time, I was fluent in English because we were required to speak English. But I was shocked when on my way to Prague, I landed in Heathrow Airport. And I came out of my plane and I thought, I speak very good English. And I went and bought something from a tuck shop. And the guy there said, "Tenna, sir." And I just looked up at him. I said, I never understood. I said, "I beg your pardon. Tenna, sir?" All my English vanished.
You were too refined.
All my
You were too refined for
my training in the school, all
Right.
my high flown. No, I realized that I was not even fit to go and talk in the street, go and buy fish and chips.
in your you know, really posh accent. That was out of place there.
So,
okay, that's so interesting.
see, what changed me was that when I was in Czechoslovakia, I was introduced to a man called Jan Marek. He was a specialist for Iqbaliyat. He spoke fluent Urdu and Persian. He had a library, the Oriental Institute Library.
Okay.
And he asked me to make free use of that library.
Right.
When I went into that library, I had all the time to study. I was bewildered. There was Kashful Majub, Unveiling of the Veiled One by Ali Makhdam Hajweri Data Ganj Baksh, whom I always thought he is just a saint. He turned out to be a huge scholar, the most ancient treatise on Sufism. There was Bulle Shah, there was Shah Latif, there was Sachal Sarmas, there was, you know, Rumi, there was Iqbal. I was swayed off my feet. I said, where was I?
And that's so ironic because you had a cultural shock out of
Absolutely.
Pakistan.
It was then I realized it was like Shakespeare, you know. Shakespeare once left UK, London, and he went away. And he said, nor England did I know till then, what love I bore to thee.
So true.
Not when I left you that I knew, oh my country, how much I love you.
So it's the absence of something, as you also defined in the beginning of the program, that because we're so used to seeing everything.
But there was absence on both sides. There was absence here. When I was in an English school, I had not known anything about my country.
True.
Nothing at all. And what I wonder is, there are still schools here. There are still many curriculums in Pakistan and universities which don't teach anything about Pakistan. Very sorry. Do you know, you'll be shocked that elsewhere in the world, cultural studies is one of the most in things in university education. In Pakistan, culture is not taught nowhere, even though we are cradle of a civilization, the Indus Valley civilization, and the Harappan civilization, and the Gandhara civilization, and the Silk Route. And we are the...
We're living in the cradle of history.
We are the cradle of the civilization.
Yeah.
But this is not taught in any university. What a pity. Folkloric studies, which are so important for Pakistan. It's important merely because 70% people are living in rural areas.
Yes.
They are regional Pakistanis.
Yeah.
They speak regional languages. They have a regional folklore, which is an ideal medium for them for education and for development. It's not that you don't teach them modern education, but alongside.
Yeah.
There's nothing of the sort.
But that's sort of criminal, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because,
teachers are, you know, in schools, teacher would teach Baba Black Sheep, but not any of the folk rhymes of Pakistan.
It's true.
Which is very sad.
It's extremely
and this
sad.
is sad for the future of Pakistan.
So what do we need to do? I mean, you've done so much on your individual
We need to,
level as well.
Foremostly, if you really want to save this country and make it a progressive country, you see, one thing we must realize as Pakistanis, we have to advance. We have to modernize, because this is one of the criticism on me. Oh, Mr. Mufti, you are churning back the wheels of time. You want us to go back into the time of, of that bullock cart. No, I want to go forward. I have come from forward. I've seen the world.
Yeah.
I've read in the foreign universities. I've come back to wear my own dress and talk of my own culture. So I am not the man who's taking anyone back. My conception is that Pakistan and we Pakistanis must advance.
Yeah.
We must modernize. We must go forward. But we should do that from the depth of our own being.
And not on the cost of something.
No, not
but
at the
on
cost
the
of
strength.
our traditional image or our traditional identity. Because if we do that, we will be
Lost.
We will have no face.
Exactly.
We will be copycats.
And a person without an identity
Absolutely.
is a person who cannot carry them anywhere.
Is not respected.
Yeah.
He is nobody. He is just a mimic. He is a copycat.
Yeah.
I think nobody wants to be a copycat. I would hate to be a white man's copy or a white man's monkey, if you allow me to call that.
Right. Okay. So, you know, what I would say is that we're dealing with a lot of cultural confusion right now, especially. About 20 years ago, there wasn't, you know, all that exposure. We had PTV, and, you know, for quite a long time, it stayed as just one channel. Then we had the internet. So people here, without going abroad, have been exposed to the whole world and globalization.
Which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing, again.
No problem.
But then the cost,
No
the
problem
balance,
with that.
the balance.
The problem is, you see, what I would say is, you see, globalization is coming the world over.
Yeah.
You can't stop it. Can you stop it?
No.
You can't stop
No.
it. So there is one end of this movement, this cultural change, is globalization.
Right.
And we can't stop it. It is coming and will come. The other end is traditional culture. Now we can preserve it, promote it, and develop it and strengthen it to stand up to globalization. If anybody thinks that globalization will take away our cultural identity, is mistaken.
Yeah.
This is what Americans thought, you know.
Yeah.
Americans at one time thought that we are a simmering cauldron in which everything will simmer down and they will all become Americans.
Yeah, and
That
we'll have
never-
this amalgamation of
didn't happen.
everyone,
That
which
didn't-
shows the strength of
That
cultural.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
They realized that the more they try to make them American,
Yeah.
the more
Resistance.
they emphasize their ethnic and their separate identity. So it's not possible. They've tried to assimilate blacks. They have not been able to do that. Not only the blacks, the Greeks, the Jews. Go to New York,
Hispanics.
look at the Jews.
Yeah.
You can always spot a Jew, a businessman walking along the road because he would not give up his identity. And you
Exactly.
should value him for that.
Yes.
You must appreciate.
Yeah.
So Pakistan has also to learn not to be swayed by modernization, but to retain its character, its indigenous culture, its indigenous knowledge. Indigenous culture is indigenous knowledge. People all over the world are looking for indigenous knowledge.
And that's where lies your pride.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's-
You see, one of the problems, Shabnam, is that we in Pakistan have not truly understood the meanings of culture. Our government institutions, for example, there are umpteen of them, art councils they are called. Every region has one, even Multan has one, even small places like Faisalabad. But these are not cultural institutions, mind you. They are art institutions. They are concerned with painting, dancing, music, at the most drama, right? That is not culture. Culture is communities,
Right.
people, local initiative,
Right.
indigenous knowledge, local enterprise, local food, local cuisine, local produce, local initiative, local ethics and morality and conventions and
There's
you
a
know.
huge spectrum.
So culture is people.
Yeah.
Is of the people, for the people, by the people. These cultural organizations, so-called art councils, do nothing for the ordinary people, the rural people of Pakistan. Mind you, even the television fails there. We are not, you know, we are very city-based, we are very urban-based.
Yeah.
But where is Pakistan? Pakistan is all beyond these 3-4 cities.
Exactly.
There's a hegemony of 3 cities on Pakistan right now. This is very lopsided and it's not healthy.
Yeah.
It's not healthy. You know how many languages are spoken in Pakistan? 75.
That's a huge number.
55 for sure.
Yeah.
And do you know some languages in Pakistan?
Are they on the verge of being extinct? Are some of
are
them
on the verge of being extinct. Some are spoken by only 8 people. The Kalasha language is spoken by about 3,000 Kalash people. But look at the diversity.
Yeah.
This diversity is an asset.
And that is, and actually, that
It's a great asset.
Exactly. And what I was going to say, while you made that, you know, you gave us that fact, we need to celebrate that diversity.
Absolutely.
And give that message to everybody.
Absolutely.
That wherever you are in Pakistan, we all come together to make one nation, and your differences are to be celebrated and recognized.
Valued and promoted.
Appreciated, yes.
You see what has happened over there. See, the main problem is that Pakistan is caught up between 2 opposing dynamics. There is regional cultures, diversity lies there. And there is a national ideological political culture, which stresses and sometimes imposes a unity at the cost of the regional cultures, which is very sad. Even though, if you look at it, the regional cultures are not in any way opposed to the ideological content of the unity of Pakistan.
Yeah.
Look at the Sufis, for example. Take a Sufi from Sindh, take a Sufi from Balochistan, take a Sufi like Rahman Baba from KPK, take a Sufi from Chitral like Baba Sayar. They use different languages.
But the denominator is the same though.
Say the same thing.
Yeah.
Their end objective of what the message is the same. So we should be, you see, there is nothing in the regional cultures which is against the ideology of Islam.
There's
nothing at
no
all.
conflicting
Even though,
factors.
to the contrary, I think what we failed to do, the Sufis already did for us. What did the Sufis do? They took the local languages. They didn't impose Arabic on us. They didn't impose Persian. They were all non-Pakistanis, most of them. They took the local language and they gave us back our ballads, our romances, our tales, and put the values of Quran imbibed into the tale of Heer Ranja, the tale of Soni Maiwal, the songs, Pir Meria Jugni Kendi, Naam Ali da Lendi Hoik. How is that against Islam?
Exactly.
And in Shobaz Kalandar or Lal Meri Patra, how is that Islam? So our regional culture, we should not be afraid of it. We should promote it because it goes to strengthen Islam.
That's so true.
It is not the mullah who is strengthening Islam. He may perhaps be doing even though he's done a great service because he's kept our mosques alive, but he may be doing a disservice because he might be using the pulpit.
A misperception.
No, you see, when you deny, this is a fact, when you deny local culture, when you ignore the ballads and the dances and the music and the narratives and the legends and the tales of the local people and the local dialects, what happens? The pulpit takes over. The dogma comes in. Then it's not the people that rules you, it is the pulpit that rules you.
That's absolutely true.
But that is very sad because, you know, religion can be sometimes coercive.
True.
And religion is usually authoritative, but culture is persuasive. So a religion which is imbibed in culture, like the Sufis did, persuasive. It doesn't coerce you. It's not authoritative.
And so it has that magnetism towards it as well. You see, the thing that actually speaks to your soul.
There you are.
We're going to get back to this wonderful conversation right now. We're going for a break, so don't change the channel.
Okay.
Okay, welcome back to the program, and we're having a fantastic time here speaking to Mufti about culture in Pakistan and the cultural horizons in Pakistan. And you know, there's so many things that I have learnt as well speaking to you, and I'm sure our viewers are, you know, finding this, you know, so informative as well.
I hope so.
So many questions being answered here, and very, very important questions, and also the importance of acceptance as well. You know, first of all, understanding where you come from, where your heritage lies, who you are as a person, you know, where your forefathers, your ancestors, what they have meant to you, and to be able to have those memories, that's very important as well.
Well, this is what gives you confidence.
Yeah.
This is what makes you stand up on your own feet. This is what gives maturity to a nation.
True.
Less that, a nation is not a nation unless it's confident of itself.
And again, you know, you've made such an important point, because we get so many people saying, what is the definition of a nation?
Yes.
And here you are.
It has to be backed up by culture.
So true, so true. Okay, so let's talk about now finances, economy, you know, what that means in terms of culture, and where is the link?
That's my favorite subject.
So that's why
because most people think that economy, that culture has no role to play in the economy of a country.
Right.
And therefore, it is something which should be left out of any programs of development.
Whereas
I personally think that there is a cultural dimension to development which is very, very important. And that is where Pakistan has failed. You know what happens in Pakistan? Every successive government that comes to Pakistan cries hoarse on economy. Economy, 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 economy. And what happens? Each government leaves and the economy is a disaster. And it doesn't
worse than the previous one.
It doesn't improve, it gets worse. Why? You see, there are other reasons too. The first thing is that economy works within a cultural pattern. Just as you are familiar with computers. Now, computer programs work within an environment called Windows. If your Windows is corrupted, no program works.
Right.
If your Windows is not corrupted, your spreadsheet works, your financial programs works, your word processors work, your designing works, your cartooning program, your animation, everything works.
Right.
But when your window is corrupted, nothing works. So, it's the same with culture. Culture is that preeminent, basic, primary environment of a society. If that environment is healthy, is not corrupted, things work. If there's corruption in that environment, nothing works. Nothing will work. The other thing is that Pakistan fails to realize, have you seen a cricket team which always plays on a turf on which it loses? Have you ever seen a cricket team like that?
No.
They're always playing on a turf on which they're bound to lose. Now, economy is that turf on which Pakistan has lost for 70 years and will continue to lose because we fail to realize, you see, even have you seen the Pavlovian, have you read about the Pavlov's experiments on rats?
The dog one.
He gives a piece of cheese and then he asks a rat to solve that maze. And when the rat tries 2 times, 3 times, the rat fails. What does the rat do? The rat changes its mode of approach. Now, we Pakistanis fail to understand. We've tried 70 years, we've tried the economic approach. We should change our mode.
Okay.
We are so rich culturally. We are the cradle of a civilization. We can stand up to the whole world on culture. And therefore, we have to combine cultural initiatives with economic initiatives. Then we would succeed. Then whatever development takes place will be accepted by the people. It has to be accepted by the people. Unless a development, economic development is accepted by the people, it's no use. That economic measure is no use because the people are left out. People, even the World Bank, do you know? The World Bank has now employed a number of anthropologists because they've suddenly realized that just giving a huge amount of loan to a remote society in Africa or Asia doesn't work. It only works when it's based and culturally rooted.
Right.
When the people accept it.
True.
Then the people are willing to absorb and accept. So culture and economy goes hand in hand. And what is happening now today? For example, this World Cup. This is not an economic initiative. But look at the economic boon that it will create for Russia.
Yes.
It's a cultural initiative.
Yeah.
It's a sports initiative.
So we're all stakeholders.
So why can't Pakistan think of a worldwide Silk Route festival and invite the whole world to it?
Yeah.
You will see that our northern areas, if they hold this Silk Route festival annually, they will develop economically to such an extent because of the cultural initiative that we take.
That's how
we invite people.
How profound this is.
Absolutely. This. So I think you
So
see,
we're sitting on a treasure chest that
oh,
we're not willing to open.
We have not cashed it. Mohenjo-daro is a treasure chest.
Yeah.
Do you know, once our Director General, Archives, the former one, I won't name him, he went to see the DG UNESCO. And he climbed up the 4th or the 6th or 7th or 37th floor of UNESCO in Paris. And he met the DG. And he said to the Director General, he said, Sir, you are a very well-known person. You are Director General. And the DG UNESCO said, no, sir, I'm not. I'm just a clerk sitting on a desk. You are sitting on a heritage.
Amen.
Look at what you have. You have Mohenjo-daro, you have Harappa, you have Gandhara. You are the man. You should be known the world over, not I. I am a clerk. I just sit on files. Now look at his perception.
It's true.
But have we cashed this civilization? We have not.
The question is why?
The reason is that we have somehow thought that Mohenjo-daro and Harappa are pre-Islamic and we are now Islamic. This is stupid. If Islam in the 7th century accepted Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, who are we to deny? The other thing is that one flawed vision is that we somehow, by the Orthodox Maulvis, have made us believe that Islam is the foundation of Pakistan. It is not. Islam is not the foundation. What do you put in a foundation? When you build a house, what do you put in the foundation? Stones and rubble and all the dirt and filth, and you fill it up. That is not Islam. Islam is the third story. It came on Buddhism, on and after. There were other great civilizations here. Islam did not come to a Zulu. Islam came to one of the greatest civilizations of the world to develop it further.
Yeah.
We should be proud of that. We should be proud that Islam came to us because we are the seat of a great civilization. Supposing Islam had gone to the Bushmen of Kalahari, what would Islam's face have been? What would it be? If they were roaming about naked, they would put maybe a banana leaf in front and at the back, and that would be, they'll call themselves. That would be the realization of Islam. No, Islam chose to come to one of the greatest seats of civilization called the Indus Valley civilization.
Right.
And we should be proud of that. And we should own it. And we should be happy about it.
So actually things are very simple.
Very simple.
People have made them complicated.
Unnecessarily. Confusions in the mind.
And many of them with vested interests,
Absolutely.
unfortunately.
Absolutely. So Islam is that beautiful balcony on the 3rd floor where you can sit out in the open, have a bird's eye view, you can look out.
Because again, Islam is a very tolerant and
yes,
inclusive religion.
Of course. Of course.
It's completely inclusive.
It is the only religion which accepts all the 4 revealed books, which accepts all the 1,25,000 prophets, which doesn't exclude anything. So, we should not be afraid of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. And coming back to economy and culture, I think until and unless economy is not just fiscal measures.
Right.
Only figures and fiscal budget and, when the budget comes out, I don't even understand it as a common man.
Many people don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because these are fiscal measures.
Yeah.
They don't relate to the ordinary man. So, not unless we have an economic program which relates to the people of Pakistan, the culture of people of Pakistan, will this country travel? And will the economic measure succeed?
True.
Positively succeed.
True.
If the World Bank has realized that less cultural initiative, economic measures do not succeed. So we should also understand that there is a cultural dimension to development,
And
which
also,
is important.
That's absolutely true. And also we need to educate ourselves.
Certainly.
I think that it's so important to have these conversations at home as well. You know, if you look at the content of what we're talking about, we talk about the home environment as well. Sitting down together, dinner tables, you see that is something that is
it begins at home.
Yeah, and
morality is almost, it's not taught in schools.
Oh no,
no
never,
longer.
Never.
It's not taught in universities. It is always ingrained into a child.
Behavior, and he's looking at behavior. He's, again, not looking at what my parents are saying.
No.
He is, you know, he's very, very intelligent.
Absolutely.
And very perceptive.
Absolutely.
And they will catch out a lie.
There you are.
And hypocrisy right there.
This is your subject, Shabnam.
So this is something that we need to be talking about
This
at
is
home
something
as
I
well.
have to learn from you.
Oh, no, that's very kind of you. But this is, you know, and then we're all ambassadors and we can all make those differences. And we can, you know, as you said, to appreciate your culture and to give it its value, whether you're wearing it, using it, giving it as a gift for someone. When you go abroad, the most wonderful gifts you can give to friends, you know, wherever you're going on holiday.
Cultural.
All cultural, traditional gifts.
All the crafts and arts and crafts of Pakistan.
And especially, I mean, foreigners, they just go crazy for this
Absolutely.
stuff. They will focus on every tiny stitch.
The costumes, the embroidery. Do you know that Pakistan has some of the finest embroidery in the world? But we are not even aware of it.
That is terrible. I mean, that's unforgivable.
Absolutely. We have to start.
We're at fault.
The message is that we have to start knowing ourselves and valuing ourselves.
That's so true.
And valuing what we have.
Yeah.
Rather than, you see, I think folk art and folklore is important. It's important because it's inherited. It's ours. It's as against what is coming from outside is learnt. It is alien.
Yeah.
So we must learn to value what is ours.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we should not learn the good things which are coming from abroad. Why not?
Okay.
But we must learn to value, preserve, promote, and take pride in whatever is our own.
Those are fantastic words. And, you know, I think I couldn't think of a better sentence to end this program
Okay,
with what you just said. Because unfortunately, we're running out of time, but it's been absolutely fantastic speaking to you.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And, you know, really, I think you have made us all so much culturally aware.
And you have to send me that book on children poems.
I will definitely.
Which is very important. This is
again, that's cultural. That's cultural importance.
There's not much being done for children in Pakistan.
Thank you so much. Right. Okay. I will make sure you get that book.
Look forward.
Thank you so much for being with us and talking about something that is so important.
You're welcome.
Okay, and with that, we're at the end of today's program. We've had a fantastic episode where we have talked about Pakistan and its culture. The problem is that it's everywhere and we're failing to understand its importance and its value, and there's so much we can do to embrace it and to preserve it. So that's what we need to do. So until next week, stay happy. Bye-bye. Acha, okay. Acha, we're just going to record a teaser right now.
You don't need me for that.
Okay. Today's program is about cultural horizons for Pakistan, and our guest today is Mufti. क्या? तुम्हारी आवाज़ नहीं आ रही? हेलो, अच्छा एक रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं तो